What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Yeah, it's been a very long minute, but I am She. I can relate to you, and hopefully some of you guys can relate to me. We're gonna do a quick video today, but I wanted to come on and talk about how I stepped out on faith and became a stay-at-home mom. So let's start with, I've worked in my field for, it was roughly 10 years. I've always worked. Let's start there. I've always worked since I was about 16. My first job was at Payless. So, and I worked there for maybe all of 6 months. And after that, I went off to college. I went to USF, and I had jobs while I was at USF. I worked retail mostly, and I did, I think it's called student work, where you work on campus. I think it's one of them. Girl, I don't know. But so I've always worked. And then I graduated, and maybe like a year after I graduated, I got into my field, and I've worked there for 10 years, 10 whole years. And I was pregnant with my second daughter. My husband and I had talked about it over and over, and we agreed for me to stay at home with her. You know, the numbers were looking right, and he was like, "Baby, I'm gonna take care of you." So I was like, "Okay." I wasn't like, okay. I was terrified, honestly, because, you know, growing up in some homes, I was taught to never depend on a man, one, and two, just make sure you keep, you know, a stash somewhere, and, you know, just overall never depend on a man. And that was drilled into my head so much. Like, it was drilled into my head so much, and I was afraid because I had my grandparents tell me this, and my mom told me this, to just never depend on a man. And it's like, well, if I married this man, I have to trust him and I have to depend on him. So I should be able to solely depend on him. It was a very, very hard decision because, you know, people can change. Once you are dependent on them solely, people can change. And I was afraid of that. And I was just afraid to start a new chapter. So it was hard for me to come to the conclusion to do it, but I did it. And, you know, I talked to my brothers about it. I talked to one of my sisters-in-laws. She was a stay-at-home mom as well. I got a little bit of advice from her, but their advice didn't alter my decision. It was just a, let's see how it goes, because, you know, I have a degree. I can always go back to work if nothing works, and we said we'll give it a year. So let's see how it goes. And it's been a year and a half, and I'm loving it. Like, my husband retired me at the age of 33. He retired me at the age of 33. And I love it. I started a business, and yeah, so girl, if this is your sign of you thinking about being a stay-at-home mom, if your husband is like, I got you, I want you to be here for the kids full time, and you really do see a difference in your kids when you are a stay-at-home parent versus a working mom. And there's nothing wrong being a working mom, because I was a working mom with my first child, and I missed a whole lot with her, because my career did demand lots of hours from me. So I missed a whole lot. I missed her first steps. That I remember one day vividly, I was in the kitchen washing dishes, and she had to be maybe like 2, and she was walking around, and she just randomly started counting to 10. And it's like you can count to 10, like you know your numbers. And I had no idea she knew her numbers. We were blessed to have her stay with family during that time, but I had no idea she knew how to count to 10. But now with my second daughter, her first words, I'm teaching her to say thank you. I'm teaching her colors and her numbers, and it's just a different. You get it. It's just different. It's really different. But I say that to say it's really not cut out for everybody to be a stay-at-home mom. It is hard. It is demanding. Kids are basically your priority 24/7, but they're your babies. Those are your babies, and I am just thankful and grateful and blessed to actually have this opportunity, because it can be snatched from under me at any minute. But I am blessed and grateful for this opportunity to have a husband who um, respects me as a stay-at-home mom, who pushes me to continue the business that we've created, a husband who caters to me. He still does those things as a husband, and he doesn't, it's not like for lack of better words, requirement for me to have A, B, and C done by the time he gets home. He understands, and he still helps out with laundry, this, that, and that. So yeah, girl, if this is a message for you, that one girl who's considering being a stay-at-home mom, just give it a try. Just give it a try. You can always go back to work. Just give it a try for you and your babies. It's your freedom. It's your freedom. People say you should work towards not having a certain amount of money in the bank, but to work towards your freedom and your time. And I worked 10 years, and my husband said he got me, so here I am, reaping the benefits. And I wanted to piggyback off of that to talk about how I've seen so many videos and so many women who talk about how hard they have had it in life. And I'm not boasting, I'm not bragging. I haven't had that type of life. Like, life wasn't handed to me on silver platter. I wasn't spoon fed, but I always had somebody who I can call if I needed anything. Like, my brothers are older. When I was in college, I had my mom I can depend on. Even though I did work 2 jobs and I went to school, college student, and back then I think minimum wage was like what, $7.25. So what was I really making? So I had my mom, and I had my brothers, and one of my sister-in-laws was married to my brother at that time. And I always had somebody I could call and say, hey, I need A, B, and C. I need help with this. Do you have this? Do you have that? And it was always there. It was always given to me. Even growing up as a kid, I didn't have the latest. Yeah. Life wasn't absolutely easy for me growing up, but I always had opportunities and things, people, family available to me to help me out. And just going through high school and going through college, and then meeting my husband and him taking care of me now, I just thank God, because I thank God. Life has not been a breeze, but I really have nothing to complain about. Like, I really have nothing to complain about. So yeah, that's about it. So just be intentional with life. Appreciate the things that you have. Realize the things that you have, and go from there. And girl, again, if this message is for you to consider taking your husband up on his offer, do it. Check it out. You can always go back. Depend on that man, because he's dependent on you as well. He's dependent on you. But that's all I got for y'all. I ain't got no more. In the words of Funky Dineva.